All right, so here we are hanging with NeanderPaul. I think we're up to volume 4 now. Everybody in the comments is like, hey man, bring him on. Let's talk.
You'll notice I'm a little fuzzier right now. I'm going for fat Jason Momoa with a dad bod.
So what's the deal with growing a beard? It's got something to do with November, the month of November.
Yeah, you know, the No Shave November thing where October was Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Right.
November
did you have your breasts checked?
I did have. I do a self-exam, quite frankly, too often. But all joking aside, my mom died of breast cancer. Not funny anymore, is it? No. She died of breast cancer, and November, following October, is Male Health Issue Awareness Month. It started out the No Shave November. Apparently, has something to do with testicular cancer and having to shave your sack.
Oh wow!
I guess. But in any event, it has become sort of a way to show solidarity and awareness for male health issues. That's the real reason. That's the real reason behind it. But Mark and I were bitching on the show about how I have a Fred Flintstone beard, and he's like, "Yeah, my beard sucks too." I'm like, "You're bald. You can't grow hair." So we made sort of a bet that at the end of November, one of us would have a thicker beard than the other, and mine, and I hate it.
I can't grow a beard. I'm one of those hairless kind of guys.
This is what are we? This is November 22nd, so it's 22 days without shaving. That's
girls
what I have.
Are like, you got no hair on your chest, and I'm like, honey, grass don't grow on the playground, okay?
Except for the happy trail. The happy trail. The thicker it gets, the happier she is. Girth matters.
So let's talk.
Here's one for the kids.
Let's talk guitars for a little while. What's new in your world with guitars and amps?
Yeah, he's saying that because I just bought something out of his store. It's rare that I actually come in here and spend money. I usually just hang out and loiter in the place.
Man, you're one of my best customers.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to sell it.
Okay.
But he had Dane had an EVH amp 5153. You know, the third generation of his Fender branded EVH amps.
Right.
100-watt head.
One of the white ones.
Yeah, the white ones. A beautiful they call it ivory. The white head with the matching 412 cab in a beautiful, like, you know, anvil type road case.
It was nice. It was something to look at.
It was
really something.
It was really impressive. I saw it like 3 days ago, and then I got a wild hair across my ass that I wanted to grab like a JCM 800, like an old, you know, like vintage JCM 800. So I was looking around online, and the JCM 800s are so friggin' overpriced, used.
And so you compared the two.
Yeah, I actually had one. I had a line on one on a 50-watt 2204 JCM 800. Beautiful amp, but it had a mod on it that I was feeling a little skittish about. And I walked in here and saw for the price that this guy wanted for his JCM 800 30-some-odd-year-old amp used, for just, I think it was $200 more, I got the EVH 100-watt head with the 4x12 and the road case. So I would have been an idiot to not pull the trigger on that deal, and I'm sure the guy that I was talking to about buying his JCM 800 is pissed at me right now because we've been talking about it for like 2 or 3 days. But he's had it online for almost a year, so obviously I'm not the only one that shows some concern about the amp. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because the JCM 800 shouldn't sit around for the price that he wanted. Shouldn't sit around online that very long.
So here's my new toy. I got myself a Chapman ML3, and the neck is. It almost feels like an RG 550 neck but it's more rounded. It doesn't have the flatness on the back of the neck. But
it looks like one of those compound radius where it's a little thicker, a little thinner on the bottom than it is up at the top. Here's the deal.
So I got myself a Chapman. How fun are these things? Made in Indonesia.
It's interesting. For those of you that don't know, Rob Chapman is an English guitar builder and player that hangs out at a very famous English music store, and they have a YouTube channel. And and they do a great job. I wasn't going to mention it because you sell guitars.
They're not my competition.
No, they're not. But he branched out from being a guy that was sort of hanging out with the guys over at Anderton's to his own guitar builder, and he built some pretty nice guitars. The ones that he had built in Korea are done at the World Music Factory, the same place that does a lot of ESP's LTD line, some of the Deans, some of the Washburns, even some of the earlier Epiphones for Gibson. So World Music makes a fantastic guitar. I don't know where the Indonesian ones are made, but I have to assume Chapman has pretty good quality control, and that's a pretty good guitar for the money.
It's really nice. The fret ends feel good. I love how it sounds. I love how it plays.
4-bolt neck.
I love this thing.
It's a 4-bolt neck tapered onto the body, so they've done a little, the body itself is not cheap and flat like some of the cheaper Asian guitar manufacturers. There's some beveling in there. They really put some craftsmanship into it.
Yeah, you can get way up here to that 24th fret real easy.
It is a 24th fret?
Yep.
So I like that guy. He gets a lot of heat for whatever reason. Those two guys, they get heat because they're on the internet and people. That's what people do.
And they kind of do a comedy show a little bit here and there. It's kind of a comedy show.
I like them. I think they're good. I think their shop is good.
Popular. Yeah, I like them too.
I look at their reviews of guitars all the time and think, all right, well that's pretty spot on.
I actually went to the Rob Chapman event at Guitar Center last month, and I got to meet him and shook his hand, and super nice guy.
Yeah, he's doing a lot of, his brand is now becoming, I think, the house brand at Guitar Center, which is a good deal for him. I know Guitar Center's brand is Mitchell. I think but I don't know that those are selling as well as, I don't know the figures on that, but I know that Chapman got a deal.
I don't think they sell at all. They're a really hard sell.
Yeah, and they're not very good. I have a Mitchell acoustic that I bought cheap for the studio for us to use.
Let's talk about this thing. What you got here?
This is a Peavey Jack Daniels. This is one of those like collector guitars.
Yeah.
For the people that like branded guitars, like they have NASCAR branded guitars and they have different beer guitars. They actually have here. I'll go grab this one too.
Yeah,
might as well.
Another one sitting there.
Apparently, I'm gonna drop this one.
There you go. Oh, you got it.
I got it. So here's another one where Peavey apparently has a deal with Jack Daniels.
Yeah.
Where they sell these branded guitars. And I'm not going to put that back up there.
They're a lot of fun.
And they're actually well-made guitars.
Yeah.
They're well-made guitars. So this is kind of a neat little acoustic guitar that Dane's had sitting in the shop that you should come by because it sounds really good.
So, rock and roll news, all those old bands that we love. What's going on nowadays? What's new in the world?
Rolling Stones just announced the 2019 tour. They are going to be coming to Phoenix next year at the big stadium out there in Glendale. Who else? Kiss is doing their final tour.
I saw the Stones about 10 years ago. Alice Cooper opened up out at Cardinal Stadium. It was a good time.
Stones still bring it live. They're
Here's
still
what
an amazing show.
I know about Keith Richards, great player.
Yes.
They never fall out of character when they're, like, you never see, okay, the lead singer's guy's name. What's his name again?
Dane doesn't know who Mick Jagger is.
Mick Jagger. Okay, here's what I remember about the show. Mick would never, like, fall out of that character. He would, well, he is who he is, but he would never, like, walk over and you would never see him take a drink of water out of a plastic water jug or anything like that.
No, he's performing, man. It's on.
It was 100% on. And they had this stage that rolled all the way across out to the 50-yard line, and he was up there at 70 years old dancing, and he never once, like, took a breath and not, he never fell out of his character of, I'm in a concert and I'm performing.
What he's essentially saying is, if you go to see a Rolling Stone show, you do get your money's worth. They put on a show. It's a show
really
from start to finish. They are tagged as the world's greatest rock and roll band. That's their own tag on it. You can debate that whether you're not. But there's an argument to be made that the Rolling Stones in their 70s still kick the shit out of bands a third their age live. I mean, their shows are still great. Keith is still great. Are they old? Yeah, they're old. Are those songs timeless? You're damn right they are. Mm-hmm. I don't know anybody that's gone to a Rolling Stone show and not had a good time. So that's going to be, in fact, I never ask for tickets from work.
You're just seeing
and I asked for them this time. I'm like, hey, okay, can I get a line on tickets on these? Because it's going to sell out.
You're just seeing a piece of history, that is for sure.
And this,
Keith Richards.
You hear this a lot. This could be the last time, no pun intended.
This could be it.
This could be it. They're in their friggin' 70s.
Wow.
So there's that. You've got the Kiss show, speaking of guys who are old. and having a hard time. Now, there's the other
See
side of
Keith
that.
Richards' hands, his fingers are just like,
Skeletal, yeah.
but he can still play.
His face looks swollen. His face looks like he slammed his face into a pot of boiling water. It's all
There's
swollen
been so
and
many
chunky.
jokes over the years about that guy dying, and every time you smoke a cigarette, Keith Richards lives another 3 years or whatever it is.
He's like Lemmy.
You know, here, America's greatest rock and roll band, Aerosmith. I'm a little bit worried. I heard that Perry is in the hospital.
He's home.
Oh,
he's home.
He's okay.
Yeah, he had about a year and a half ago, he had a pulmonary issue where he had an irregular heartbeat.
Okay.
They handled that. This time around, it was about 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
He was on stage with Billy Joel in New York at Madison Square Garden.
Oh, wow.
They had just finished playing, I forget what song, I don't know if it was Train Kept It Rolling or something like that. Walk This Way, maybe.
With Billy Joel.
With Billy Joel.
Oh, wow.
Billy Joel, I hate Billy Joel. Hate his music, not a fan. But his live shows, like he'll jam with Brian Johnson from AC/DC,
Yeah.
or he'll do a cover of Zeppelin. His live shows, I mean, Billy Joel is he was in a hard rock band before he became
He's
Billy
versatile.
Joel. He was in a band
He's
called
versatile.
Blackjack,
Okay.
which I believe with Michael Bolton.
Oh, wow.
I could be wrong there, but
about
you
that?
might want to go do that. There's your Michael Bolton started out as a hard rock guy. Billy Joel wanted to be a hard rock guy. They both found money in greener pastures writing songs,
Piano ballads,
Yeah,
yeah.
and good for them. But Billy Joel live still sort of brings it. And Joe Perry was out there jamming with him. Went backstage and immediately collapsed. Apparently had some sort of a respiratory issue. They turned it on to viral and exhaustion, which is always sort of the stock answer that you get for something like that. But he's home, he's healthy, and they're doing a residency up in Vegas.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so they're gonna be up at the
Little
park.
worried, man. I'd hate to see anything happen to Aerosmith.
Park MGM Hotel, I think is what they're doing. Park MGM Grand.
Oh, cool. Good. And Kiss out on the road. Farewell tour.
Maybe.
What do you think about all the lip syncing that's going on now? Are you hearing all the lip syncing rumors? Or they got a guy? I mean, for years they've had some little vocal help off stage, backstage, singing along.
In the end, people
It's sort
don't
of becoming an issue. People don't care.
People don't care. They go to these shows. All you want to do is be entertained, and if a little bit of vocal enhancement is being used, do I like it? No, but
It's not a big deal.
I don't think it is anymore. I think people are happy to just be entertained.
Are they going to bring Ace back for
They
a final
did it.
show?
They hung out at they did one of those Kiss cruises. They do those cruises. That's a big deal. Like all the '80s bands get together and go out on a cruise on the high
That'd be a
seas.
blast to go do that.
Yeah, so they just did another one of those, and Ace and Bruce Kulick actually got up on stage and played.
I have a good friend that goes on those cruises like every year, and I know that there's like Kicks and all those '80s hair metal bands.
Right.
And
Well, Kiss just did one, a Kiss cruise, where Ace got up and jammed with them.
That's right.
Gene and he have written some songs together. Paul and he have played together on an album, the Ace Frehley Origins record.
Mm-hmm.
It appears as if they both realize that, hey, if there's a chance that they could get together, they might be able to sell a couple more tickets. And if they're really going to put this thing to bed, there's no reason why they shouldn't get back together and jam for a couple of songs. I think what's going to happen is the band is going to go out on tour.
Okay.
They're going to have as many ex-members as they can in whatever city they happen to be in, hang out with them, come out, play a song or two, go back to do their show.
Get Lady Gaga once in a while to join them.
You know who's a huge Kiss fan, believe it or not? Garth Brooks.
All right, so we were talking about Kiss, and so, they do a little lip syncing, who cares, right? It never hurt Milli Vanilli or whatever it was called.
Look, when you go to see any Broadway show, they put effects on the vocals. Whenever you go to see any pop show, they put effects on the vocals. The Super Bowl halftime show is pre-recorded and voice-tracked and all that stuff. So if a band wants to use some extra vocal help, sure, let them use it.
Right.
It's your choice whether or not you want to buy the ticket. So, do I like it? No, I don't like it. I want it filthy. I want it to be live and the warts and all that comes to it. But
Right, so, so we have these California fires, and this is just a tragedy, and so our thoughts go out to all the people from in California.
I lived right up there in Sacramento, and where some of that stuff is happening north of them. It's like 100 miles north. But right now in Sacramento, they actually have to walk around like, remember when in Japan and China when they were having the SARS and the pollution thing was going on? They're all walking around in dust masks right now, and they have the street lights on in the middle of the day because of the haze. You can't see anywhere.
And
so
the loss of life,
sucks.
it's just tragic. If you think about the wild, the pets out there and the wildlife.
Wayne Charvel lost his entire collection. Did you see that? Charvel guitars, you know the famous Charvel guitars. He's the guy that designed a lot of Eddie Van Halen's early guitars.
Factory burnt to the ground.
His house, he had a collection that was probably impossible to insure because how do you put a price on that stuff? And
I know that there are some GoFundMe accounts out there. Different YouTubers have GoFundMe accounts going on for the Charvel family, and it was a tragic thing that happened out there. But if you think about the loss of guitars, because I know that neighborhood and those people there was a lot of vintage guitars that no longer exist in this world because they went up and they burnt.
Yeah, no, you think about, we're sitting here in Phoenix, Arizona, and actually technically Mesa.
Right.
And we don't really get wildfires in this area of the state. Now, Arizona burns, and we had our situation up there in northern Arizona, up near Prescott, a couple of years ago, where a lot of people died, and they just made that movie about it. But we tend to, as we sit here on a 70-something degree day, November, we don't think that people...
I do have a jacket on for some strange reason, because it looks cool. That's why. Not because it's cold.
But there are people that are up in the Midwest right now freezing their asses off. The Northeast had the coldest Thanksgiving they've had in forever.
I wouldn't want to be in Boston right now, man.
No, it's cold as hell.
Kudos to you guys up in Boston.
So, but the people, all the firefighters and first responders that are doing all that in California and everywhere, if you ever see one of those guys, like an ambulance driver or a firefighter or even a tow truck driver, if you're in a place in the country where it snows and something, you work at a convenience store or something, buy them a coffee. Just to say thanks. Just buy them a coffee, a cup of coffee just to show some appreciation.
And just for curiosity, if anybody of you guys are watching this that you know of somebody in that neighborhood of Paradise or anywhere in California that lost a guitar, just put it in the comments because it's interesting to me to see what guitars got lost in that fire. It'd be kind of interesting to hear some of those stories. So you can add some comments if you guys want.
And we changed out guitars. I am now holding the 30th anniversary Gem Shocking Pink. This is a Gem Junior by Ibanez because I have in one of our other videos I have a Gem floral, black floral one, and these are great guitars. It's ridiculous color though.
It's like a cup of coffee and a slap in the face. That'll wake you up in the morning just looking at that thing.
You get lost in the woods. You just grab the handle and hold it up like that, and it'll be like those Sentinelese people on that island that killed that guy. You know those? Did you hear about those guys?
No.
There's an island in India where you fly over with helicopters. They shoot arrows at you, and unfortunately they killed an American citizen a couple days ago. There's nothing funny about it, but it's an area of the world that hasn't been touched, which is strange to me. So if you ever wanted to flag one of those guys down, this would be the thing to do it. If you find yourself in trouble, if you're stuck on the side of the road and you're looking and you don't have a flare or road flare, just hold that out. That'll wake everybody up. So, as awkward as this is ending, I think this is ending.
All right, guys, thank you for watching. Big thanks to Paul over here. KSLX, can we plug the radio station?
If you want to, sure, yeah. It's 100.7 KSLX here in Phoenix, Arizona.
Number one station, huh?
Weekday mornings, 5 to 10 a.m.
Awesome. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.